AutoFluent software makes it very easy to manage your vendor bills. Click on Vendor Entry. At the top of the screen, you will see the Bills and Payments buttons. If you have a vendor selected on this screen and click either one of those buttons, the screen will open with that particular vendor's information. On this screen, you can review existing bills, create a new bill, or delete or void an existing bill. If you delete a bill that has already been posted, the system will not delete the bill, but will create a negative bill or credit that offsets the amount of the bill that you are deleting. This credited amount will post to your accounting software as well. To create a new vendor bill, select the vendor that you are creating the bill for and click the New Bill button. Now enter a reference number and any notes that you want to add for further clarification when viewing the bill at a later date. Now click the New Line button and you will need to select an asset or expense account from the chart of accounts to post the bill to. Enter the amount of this expense in the amount box and click the Save Line Changes button. You can add as many lines as needed for this vendor bill and have the ability to either delete or edit lines that you have saved. You can also create a core as one of the lines of the bill. Click the New Core button, enter the catalog number of the item if it is an inventoried part, but it is not necessary. Add a description for the part, the cost, and again optionally, an associated invoice number. You can also check this box if the part has already been shipped to the vendor. Click Create New Core, and once the bill has been saved, you can track the core in the Claims Cores section of Vendor Entry. There is a separate training video if you're looking for specific information on how claims and cores work. You can also set the terms for this bill, the date of the bill, and the due date and discount when applicable. The bill total will be the accumulated total of all of the lines on the bill. The more information you enter for each bill, the easier it will be to track down a specific transaction later on if needed. If the open amount shown for a bill is different than your records show, you can click the System Maintenance button. From here, you can either toggle the open amount of the bill to show that the entire amount of the bill is due, or manually enter a new open amount, and then click the Update Open Amount button. If the bill has already been posted to your accounting software, these changes will only show in AutoFluent and not be posted into your accounting software. To pay your vendor bills, click on the Payments button. At the top of the screen, you can select the due date of the bills in which you want to include in your payment. You can then either select a single vendor to pay bills for, or click the Auto Select All Vendors button to select all bills in your system due to be paid on the date that you have selected. If you choose to pay the bills due to one vendor and have that vendor selected, you can either click the Auto Select button to include every bill due to be paid to that vendor, or you can manually select each bill to be included in the payment. To manually select which bills you will be paying, go to the To Pay column and either click on the drop-down on the appropriate line to include that bill with your payment, or manually enter an amount if you are paying less than the total amount due. If you decide that you want to clear your selections, click the Clear Selected button. If you are due a discount for paying early, enter the amount of the discount in the appropriate line in the discount column before entering the amount that you are paying. Once you are satisfied with the amount listed in the Total to Pay column, you can choose to enter a manual payment method. If you would like a greater selection of credit cards to make the payment with, you can enter new ones into your AutoFluent system. First, set up the credit card company as a new vendor in your system. After doing that, go to Setup Entry, and then click on Company Credit Cards. Here you can enter in the name of the credit card and the linked vendor. Make sure to check the Active box if you want this credit card to be available for vendor payments. Save your changes and restart AutoFluent for the changes to take effect. If you want to use the AutoFluent interface to print out checks, you can choose to print checks for all vendors at once as we mentioned previously, or you can click the Print Vendor Checks button. Here you can leave the vendor boxes blank to select all vendors, enter a range of vendors to print, or enter the same vendor on each line to print checks only for that vendor. Remember, this will generate a check for each vendor that you entered a To Pay amount for on the payment screen. You can select the check in your register that you want to begin printing from and the date that is to be printed on the check. Once these checks have been printed, the bills for each selected payment will be marked as posted in your AutoFluent system. You can order checks from our partner, computerforms.biz, or from another source where they are referred to as QuickBooks voucher checks. If you will be writing out your vendor checks manually and the payment is ready to be processed, simply enter the check number you will be using and the date you will be writing on the check. You can add any additional notes as needed in the note field. You can also check the print box if you would like a record of this payment printed out when the payment is processed. If you are satisfied with the way everything looks, click the Process Manual Payment button and the payment is complete.